sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking into this whole Caitlin Clark situation.
Yeah, it's been all over the news.
It really has. Wow. A WNBA star, a stalker, harassment.
I mean, it's got everything.
It really does. And it brings up some important issues about fame and women in sports.
Definitely.
So we've got this NPR article that really lays out all the details, and we're going to go through it together.
Sounds good.
We're not just looking at the crime itself, but all the stuff surrounding it.
Like online harassment and the consequences?
Yeah, exactly. But, okay, let's start with the basics. What actually happened?
Well, right.
Okay, so we've got this guy, Michael Thomas Lewis from Texas, who was arrested in Indianapolis for stalking Caitlin Clark.
Oh, wow. Indianapolis.
Yeah, and he was sending her, well, let's just say really inappropriate messages on X.
Oh, wow. X, formerly Twitter, right?
Yeah, X, formerly Twitter, and it's all there, like in the article, and it's really disturbing.
Oh, wow. What did he say?
Like, he even talked about driving around her house.
Yeah.
It's just,
like, whoa, way too far.
right, way too far.
It's just so creepy.
It really is.
The thing that gets me is just how detailed his messages were. Like, this wasn't just some casual fan. It was obsessive.
Yeah.
And, like, scary. Like, he was trying to scare her. And what's even crazier, the article says even after the police questioned him and he was banned from the arena,
No way, he kept going.
he kept sending those messages. He even talked about going to her other games, you know, when she was playing in different cities.
It's like he was living in some fantasy world.
You know, that's something you see a lot with people who stalk celebrities. They kind of create this fake relationship in their head with the person.
That's so messed up.
It really is. It's dangerous, too.
And Caitlin Clark, I mean, she had to change her whole routine, you know, going out in public, all because she was afraid for her safety. I can't even imagine having to live like that, always looking over your shoulder because of some creep.
And that's the thing. Online harassment is more than just words on a screen. Like, it affects real people's lives.
Totally. And this Lewis guy, he's facing some serious consequences.
Oh, yeah, big time.
The article said he was charged with criminal stalking, which can mean up to 6 years in prison.
Wow. 6 years.
Plus a huge fine.
They're not messing around.
No, they're not. Which is good, right? It shows that, like, they're taking this stuff seriously.
Right.
Because this isn't just some isolated incident. It's part of a bigger problem, online harassment, especially for women in sports.
Exactly. And the article even quotes the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. He said, let me see.
Something about how nasty the comments were.
Yeah. He called them brutal, troubling, and nasty.
Oh, right. Especially during the NCAA tournament.
Exactly. And the article even says that athletes say the direct messages are even worse. Like, it's a whole other level of awful.
Because they're hidden. Right. Nobody else sees them.
Right. And it makes you wonder why women in sports are targeted like this.
Yeah. Is it because they're women in a, you know, male-dominated field?
Yeah, maybe. Or is it something even, like, deeper than that?
That's a good question. Okay, so before we get into the why, I want to talk about Caitlin Clark's, you know, stardom and how that might have played into all this.
Yeah, good point. She's super popular.
Totally. She was a huge deal in college at Iowa, and now she's killing it in the WNBA.
And yeah, that kind of visibility can make you more vulnerable to, you know, this type of obsessive behavior.
Right. Like, the more famous you are, the bigger target you become.
It's true. But that doesn't mean it's okay.
Exactly. Fame shouldn't equal fear.
So true. We need to talk about, like, what social media platforms can do to protect people.
And what about society as a whole? What's our responsibility here?
Yeah, exactly. Lots to unpack.
Lots to unpack. So fame can definitely make someone more of a target, right? But it's not just about that. You mentioned getting into the why, like why women in sports specifically get so much harassment online.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it. It's pretty complicated, actually. Like, if you think about it, for years and years, sports were seen as, like, a guy thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And women who wanted to play sports.
They had to fight for it.
Totally. And even today, there's still this pushback, people trying to undermine them.
So it's like some people still see women in sports as a threat.
Yeah, like they're challenging the way things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that can lead to, well, all kinds of negativity, including online harassment.
So they feel threatened.
Exactly. It's like they lash out because they're seeing women succeed.
Wow. It's like trying to put them back in their place or something.
Sadly, yeah. And the internet makes it so easy, right? people can hide behind fake names and just be awful.
Right. It's like if you're at a game, you might hear some heckling from the stands, but at least there, people can see you. Right. It's different online. It feels like it never ends.
Yeah. And that can be so damaging. Imagine being a young athlete, excited about your sport, and then you go online and just get bombarded with negativity. People telling you you're not good enough, you don't belong.
Or even threats.
Yeah. And it can really mess with your head, you know? Like, it makes you wonder if these platforms like social media, if they're doing enough to protect people.
Yeah. I mean, where's the line between, like, free speech and protecting people from this kind of abuse?
That's the big question, right? Some people say these companies need to do more, like really crack down on the bad stuff.
Like filter out the nasty comments.
Yeah, exactly. Use technology to, get rid of the really harmful things before anyone even sees it.
But isn't that like censorship?
Well, yeah, it's a tricky balance for sure. But I think there's a difference between expressing an opinion, even if it's negative, and like actual harassment and threats. Like that stuff shouldn't be allowed.
Okay, I get it. But like what can actually be done? It feels so big, so overwhelming,
It's a tough one, no doubt. It's going to take a lot of different things working together. We need to change how we think about women in sports, like as a society.
So education.
Yeah, like teach people to respect female athletes, celebrate their achievements.
Instead of tearing them down.
Right. But we also need to hold the people who are doing the harassing accountable. Like, this isn't about stopping free speech. It's about making online spaces safer for everyone.
So maybe less anonymity?
Maybe. Like stricter rules on social media, making sure people are who they say they are.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the people who are already being harassed? Like, what can we do to support them?
That's so important. We need to make sure they know they're not alone. And there are organizations out there that can help, Like legal advice, counseling.
Support groups.
Exactly. Like the Cyber Civil Rights Initiative, they do great work.
It's sad, Like these athletes are out there doing amazing things, inspiring so many people, and then they have to deal with all this negativity online. It makes you think, like, maybe the more successful they are, the worse it gets.
That's an interesting thought. And it might be true. Like when women break barriers, challenge those old ideas about gender roles.
It makes some people uncomfortable.
Yeah. And they lash out. It happens in a lot of areas, not just sports.
But sports is, I don't know, maybe it's more intense because it's so physical.
Right. Like strength and dominance have always been seen as, masculine traits. So when women excel in those areas,
it really shakes things up.
Exactly. And for some people, that's really threatening.
Like, how dare they be successful?
Pretty much. They want to cut them down, like that whole tall poppy syndrome thing.
Totally. But, okay, so we've talked about the problem, the why. What can we actually do about it? Like, what can our listener do right now to make things better?
That's the question, isn't it? And honestly, it can feel overwhelming. But even small things can make a difference.
Like what? Give us something we can actually do.
Okay, well, first of all, be an active bystander. Like if you see someone getting harassed online, don't just ignore it.
Say something.
Exactly. Call out the behavior. Show the victim that you support them.
Yeah, silence it's like you're agreeing with it.
Yeah, right. We need to make it clear that harassment is not okay. And another thing, be mindful of how you act online.
Think before you post.
Exactly. Like, what impact are your words going to have? Try to create a positive, respectful environment.
Even when you disagree with someone.
Especially then. Remember, there's a real person on the other side of that screen.
Oh, and we should mention, like, supporting those organizations that are fighting online harassment, right?
Yes. Donate if you can. Volunteer your time. Spread the word about what they do.
Every little bit helps. Wow, this has been a lot.
It's a big topic.
It is. So to recap, we started with this one case, Caitlin Clark being stalked, and it's led us to this much bigger conversation about online harassment and women in sports. We talked about the history, the societal factors, the role of social media.
Lots of different angles.
Yeah. But I think the most important thing is what WE can do to create change. So to our listener, think about those athletes you admire, the ones who inspire you. Imagine what they're going through, the pressure, the negativity. Let's try to make the online world a safer place for them, a place where they can focus on their passion without fear. Your words have power. Use them for good.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.